All right, welcome back, everybody. Episode 7, Abby. We're in episode 7. So nice to have you all here. Yes, it's been great. I missed you all this week, and I have to confess, I've not rewatched the movie. I didn't have time, so I just went to Wikipedia to read the plot again. Sorry, I'm having it's been a very busy 2 weeks. Anyway, so to kick off, we'll start with Odiri, who will read the synopsis.
Netflix has yanked it off. I can't find it on Netflix.
This underwater that Bisola is always
Marine spirits.
Invoking the spirits of our ancestors.
Doesn't
Okay.
Yeah.
I can imagine. COVID. All right, so the plot, the summary. So Hutch Mansell fails to defend himself or his family when two thieves break into his suburban home one night. The aftermath of the incident soon strikes a match to his long simmering rage in a barrage of fists, gunfire, and squealing tires. Hutch must now save his wife and son from a dangerous adversary and ensure that he will never be underestimated again. So that's it.
All right. Thank you, Odiri. That was great. All right, so we're going to do, you know the drill. We're going to start with our general overview. What did you think about the movie? Don't go deep, just the surface area. So, Abisola, let's start with you so that you can finish and go back to the puzzle.
It was the John Wick.
3 minutes.
It was a John Wick wannabe, but I understand it was the same. Is it writer or producer or whatever? I do like movies like that. You know, the seemingly unassuming guy showing them that is the baddest guy ever. So yeah, it wasn't. I felt like there could have been more. It was a kind of a letdown, but I did enjoy it because I like action. I watch action for the sake of action. So yes, but it was kind of late. Yeah. I enjoyed it, but it was a bit late.
Donya has disappeared.
And Doyin has left the room.
She'll be back soon, I guess.
Doyin
does this every time. You just disappear for no reason. Or you'll do your best. Just say your own.
Okay, so for me, I think as soon as I saw the trailer, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be John Wick copy. I didn't have any expectations, but I watched it anyway. I watched it twice, and I think it's okay. I remember naming him John Wick's older cousin. So I like it was okay. It was okay. Straight to the point. They didn't start talking stories, and all the exposition they gave during the course of the movie, you can really just basically get everything. But I actually think there's a lot to digest over it.
All right, D.
Well, I didn't start thinking about it as a John Wick wannabe till the point where he was fussing over his child's necklace. And you know, apart from that, I think it's unfair to liken it to John Wick because it's quite different in so many ways. The plot, the everything, but I enjoyed it. I do enjoy every once in a while insane action, like action that doesn't even make sense. You know, I like it once in a while. So yeah, it was a good one.
Mm-hmm. All right, Sewedo, you have the floor.
So this movie is by the creator of the John Wick franchise, hence and his collaborators, including Tobey Maguire. You know.
Oh, so sorry. What? So sorry. What has Tobey Maguire been doing?
Well, if you ever watched Molly's Game, you know that. Yeah. So Tobey is actually one of the people they really do not refer to by name. The Hollywood star that had been involved in some sort of gambling racket. You know, so he's been keeping a low profile for a bit now.
Okay. Sorry to interrupt.
If you've seen,
continue.
yeah. So he just produces and stuff. So of course, Derek works with Chad Stahelski and David Letich. Those two guys used to be stunts coordinators and all that. And Derek was able to create the franchise that have now essentially made both of them household names. With Atomic Blonde and all of that. And then there's it's not been a bad few years for stunt coordinators. Simon Hargreaves, who was Chris Evans' stunt double in Endgame, is the director of Extraction, and he's going to continue with that franchise. So it's been good. So of course I prefer this to John Wick. I am one of the few people on this planet who's never been into the John Wick thing, because the premise of a dog being, and no matter whatever attachment you have to that dog, it kind of really put me off, and has put me off that franchise even till now, despite what they've tried to do with the subsequent sequels and trying to then outline this elaborate world of paid assassins and stuff like that. But man, that first one, I hated it to the pit of my stomach.
Sorry. I get when he finish, you can rebut out. The moment he finish, you can start talking. Hold on. The moment he finish talking, you have the floor. Okay. So please continue.
Okay. So I really, so of course Ben Odenkirk.
Bob
Odenkirk from Bob Odenkirk from Better Call Saul is just a brilliant actor, because his expressions, his ability to just tip stuff in this everyman, milieu. I thought, you really feel sorry for him and all that. So I really love that. I really love that about this movie. I like the idea that I like what they did with the relationship. No, I know it's fairly cliched, but the idea that there are times when you go on in a fairly normal lifestyle, things can get very humdrum, and then it does not even help you and your wife at all. I really like that. I love the subversion of actually casting Connie Nielsen in this role, because you look at her, you think, oh my God, isn't that the lady who is
Artemis?
I thought was
part of the action. I expected
but she was just a housewife.
God bless you. I really liked that. And some of the casting too was brilliant, like Christopher Lloyd from Back to the Future. I said, oh my God, my guy, even Colin Salmon from the Bond movies, The Barber, I thought was so cool.
And RZA, so who are the Wu-Tang Clan fans here? RZA.
Exactly. So I kind of enjoyed the movie perhaps more than I should, but I really liked it. If Derek had given me this movie before all that John Wick nonsense, I would have said, man, but boy, you're just the greatest. So I liked it. Of course, because it's an action movie, there are lots of holes, a bit of inconsistencies and improbables, and simplification, but I can get, so action movies for me, Friday nights, enjoy it, don't kill yourself, kind of thing. So I really liked it. I like that everyman look or sheen that they give it, even though he was in retirement, but I liked that they spent time and all that. And it really had some really nice pieces of dialogue, like when the RZA says, when everybody says, everybody, I heard about last night, you too, and then he says, everybody, if everybody knows, I know, some really, really cool lines of dialogue, which I could have jotted down for the purpose of this, but I liked it. I really liked it. Not necessarily for the action, but because of how, the coming together of the scripts. So, hello?
Yeah, I think Afam is sharing his script. Is his screen?
He's sharing his screen, playing.
Yeah, I think he should. So I think moving forward, we could do this right after Odiri's narration. So I mean, it just makes sense. Odiri narrates, then we watch the trailer, then we dive into it. It then makes it look almost like a TV show kind of stuff. Because right now it's going to distract a bit and then elongate our whatever it is. But I like the script. I was pleasantly surprised, and the editing they did at the beginning, almost like your Guy Ritchie type stuff. Wasn't
sorry, Afam, we can't hear it. Is it just me, or is it shaking? We can't hear it, and it's not playing smoothly too. So maybe we'll just try it another time.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
But it's not a bad touch, Afam, but it should.
No, it's not a bad touch. It's just that we didn't plan for it. Yeah.
It's internet connection, but no problem. Let's go.
Okay.
Yeah, it's raining.
So are you done? I don't know if I
ma'am.
interrupted you. Okay. Arinka, do you still want to fight him over John Wick? Because that's actually the next question. Compare this movie to John Wick. That was the next question. Because when I was reading about it, so many people were asking if it is part of the John Wick universe, but they said no, they are just two separate movies. So and a lot of people, because I mean, when you look at the poster, it says from the creator of John Wick. So you cannot help but compare.
The movie now.
Yeah, you cannot help but compare. So I can compare this movie and John Wick. You can fight Cereso in the process.
No, I'm not a fan of comparisons because I don't think it's fair to the people generally. I don't. Sometimes I get caught up in it, but I try not to. They are different. Like I said, I love action because it's one of the things that is one of the genres where it can be mindless. It doesn't need to make sense for you to enjoy it. So.
That's why Dwayne loves Fast and Furious.
I have no expectations of Fast and Furious. I know no matter how terrible it is, it's going to have action. And that I don't go into an action film looking for. Sometimes you are really fortunate and some of them come, they hit the mark. So they are different. Like I said, a lot of it could have been more, but I still enjoyed it. I love the idea of the under what's it called, under whatever guy showing them Pepe baddest guy. I love it. That's why I love Chuck Norris and Rambo, taking on a whole army. So it is they're different. I would say that they have a lot of similarities, a quiet guy minding his business, then you gotta look for his trouble. Then he shows you Pepe, but they are different. John Wick, for instance,
they really look for his trouble, though.
Who?
Like, really, really.
Yeah, this one they didn't look for his trouble.
They didn't really look for his trouble, though. No, that's why I'm saying that it's not quite.
No. If they hadn't taken his daughter's whatever, he wouldn't have gone looking for anybody. When they came to the house. They took his daughter's. Was he her wrist?
I think we're talking about the boss. I think we're talking about the boss. The boss.
I'm talking about the boss.
He was being a good citizen. How can he watch them harassing a young
Sister Bisola?
Yeah, so D is right. So technically, they didn't look for his trouble.
On a why that I would say is still looking for his trouble is that. So if I see somebody being harassed. And I can do something about it, and I just
but he had beaten them, and he went away. He now came back to come and do. When they threw him out of the bus, he could have just walked away, told the girl, "Yeah, you, come down from the bus." But no, he still went back to finish them off. So in
Pepe. You have to show them
Bisola. You are trying to defend it. Go.
I said, but it's different from they have.
Yeah, which is why I said it's kind as in it's not the only point where liking it close enough to John Wick was when he went to go and look for them simply because of his daughter's, I think it was a Hello Kitty bracelet that he went to go and look for. Yes. So that was the only reason why he
Just buy her another one.
You know,
Buy her with too.
that's really
Buy her another one. What? So you've got that particular Hello Kitty bracelet.
That
Buy
one.
her another one.
Even if you don't go buy another one. If you don't make, not go buy another one.
How much is it?
All right. So I think basically we've answered this second one. Now, I told you I didn't rewatch the movie, so I never really got the meaning of the tattoo. Okay, sorry sir. Continue.
We're saying the difference between this one and then John Wick. He was more of a fist.
No, it's just like to compare whatever differences you cite and everything.
And now the difference for me was he was more of a fist guy than a gun guy. John Wick is more of a gun guy. Shoot everything inside. This guy was bare knuckle, hit and be hit. John Wick wasn't really himself. It really surprised me because of where I know him from. As I don't even know him from Better Call Saul. No, that's not where I really know him.
What's the name of that drug addict film? That drug selling Breaking Bad. That's where I never watched Better Call Saul. But his character from Breaking Bad is bumbling like he was. His character is definition of a bumbling
idiot. That's why I said he's a great actor. Bob Odenkirk is a great actor.
He was able to,
and I appreciate him.
No.
Yeah.
New respect.
I really appreciate
him.
I think he's an Emmy or Golden Globe darling. But I've always respected him.
Saul, really. I think it's because of Better Call Saul that he got his Emmy.
Well, you see, the thing is, we didn't get a Better Call Saul out of the blues. It's because of how they saw how viable his role in Breaking Bad was, that they then said, okay, let's try this sort of thing. But I appreciate him. So maybe he's going to pull a Liam Neeson on us, and then just launch it.
Sorry, I don't watch the show, but is Better Call Saul still on?
Yeah.
Or are they done?
In the last season.
I think then.
Okay.
This year.
But what they did good. He really transcended from that bumbling person to this action hero. Like, really. When I also saw the poster, I'm like, what was he going to do?
I think he did it not just in your one-liner way. For me, I could. Wait. There's
a question there for that. No, there's the answer to that. You get your own question. That's why. So we'll get there. Sorry, I don't want us. I want everything to be no vex. Please, no vex. When I ask the question, I'll get to you. Okay.
Go
yeah. So, Afam, are you
done? Yes, for now.
Okay.
Afam is
your turn
today.
It's your turn.
I love this. I love the
editing. He's the one that suggested the movie now. Afam suggested the movie.
Yes, but you realize that he was hunting for a laptop. Meaning for me that when a guy gets a ginger like that and hunts for laptops, perhaps great things have happened to them.
Let me first of all tell you, calm down. The money has been in my brother's account in Canada. The guy just used it to pay one distance. So I'm just end of month, the money is coming back. That's why I'm just.
This is Shalaye stuff now. Yeah. Money is landing. Afam, Babagba.
God, so we start to collect salary. God is doing it for us. Salary will still start entering.
Amen.
God sopo. I'm just telling you.
All I know is that if God is doing it for my neighbor,
is he doing it for you too?
Amen. No. This means Ayinke's trust fund is very close.
I'm telling you, Ayinke is hiding.
She's not stand up.
I've told you.
Ayinke is trying to find Dory.
I've told you.
All right, so like I said, I wasn't really paying attention. No, it's not like I've done a shot, but that part of the tattoo, I knew it was significant, but I didn't pay attention and I didn't watch it again. to find out. So can someone just tell me sharp what the tattoo meant? The tattoo that scared that guy away. Okay, Odiri, who wants to answer?
The baddest guy, an assassin. I think it signifies.
Yeah, an assassin. So he used to work for. He said the three-letter agencies.
So you would know.
Perhaps CIA, NBI, National Security, and all those people. But I think he used to be. He said he's the auditor.
When you say you are auditor, you are sitting on top of the food chain of assassins.
Yes.
That's what it means.
So was the tattoo like a calling card or an identification? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
It was an identification. If you notice, he's always wearing a long sleeve to cover it.
Yeah.
Because he's retired now. He doesn't want anybody to recognize him. He's done. But he still has like this backlog of rage and anger in him that he still needs to let out. And that calls to when you are used to something, you're used to a particular kind of lifestyle, it's quite difficult to just leave. In the words of The Godfather, when I try to go out, they just pull me back in.
They keep pulling me in.
So he could have in the bus. He could have just, ignored.
I think the boss was some kind of
somebody that was praying for life.
Nah, man. He's
his
anger.
No, but the thing that is really surprising was that he was able to hold his anger in front of his son. When his son was also looking at him like, which kind of mumu dad is this one? He was not able to hold his anger and then now go outside.
So I just Googled what the tattoo meant.
Okay.
So they said that in cartomancy, the 2 diamonds over the 7 of spades means bad news. You're going to die soon. So I guess that was basically having it up your sleeve could be okay. So yeah. So basically that was what it meant. Like it probably hints to his past that basically in a tattoo shop, thank you for your service, and so basically it meant something to them because they know that tattoo, what the meaning of that tattoo meant that you're going to die soon. So seeing it on that person, being tattoo artists themselves, they understood what it meant. So I don't think it's necessarily shows that they knew who he was, but they knew what he represented or something like that.
Okay. So the next question is for Seredo, the part I told you to pause that there's a place your question will fit in. All right, so I normally have to read different reviews to know what people are saying about the movie, and then I don't know, some people are shouting it was just mindless action, it was just dumb action. Others, like, they were complaining that it was not introspective, like it's not the type, like, when we talked about Snowpiercer last week, we talked about his relation to life and everything. They said this movie wasn't introspective. Do you agree? Yes, no, why?
No, because it wasn't meant to be introspective. It's mindless action. It's one man going into the bus, breaking off the poles, the whatever, and the bus, and then using it to cut someone's throat, and still brings a straw out of a sippy cup or whatever he brought it out for, and putting it into. It was just mindless action. I don't know why people these days are looking for a lot of things with meaning. It's the same way they were talking about coming to America and expecting it to be, a reflection of African culture and Africanness, So I think that's just people just taking the piss as far as I'm concerned. The movie did what it was supposed to be. It was mindless action. The same way we say the Fast and Furious franchise is mindless. It doesn't have any context. It doesn't have any reality that you can hold on to it from, apart from the point where what's his face died, Paul Walker died. There was nothing you could emotionally attach yourself to apart from the adrenaline rush it gives you. So that's it, really, for me.
I second that. I don't know why people are always looking for what is not lost. They say come and watch.
Seredo is smiling. I'm waiting to hear what Seredo has to say.
You say you're looking for introspection. I'm never able to understand people's expectations, honestly.
Okay, so action movies. When I was watching this particular movie, and then Hutch's brother-in-law comes and gives him a gun and says, protect my sister, right? So it got me thinking about America's romance with guns and how they think that most things can be settled with guns, right? So for me, right, it isn't, the movie itself is an action movie. I mean, along the same lines as Polar. I don't know if anybody saw Polar with Mads Mikkelsen and all that.
I saw it 2 times.
I know, I have it on my, I'm a Mads Mikkelsen fan, so I have it on my laptop.
Well, that's not why I saw it. I saw it for the
other reason. Okay, let's not talk about the other reason. So again, action movies, the way they are, especially in Hollywood, are often an opportunity to flaunt cinematographic skills, choreography skills, pyrotechnics, how you can blow stuff up. Once in a while, an action movie comes out that makes you think or makes you ruminate on stuff. Oftentimes they have sprinkling of maybe sci-fi or drama and all of that. But this is definitely, I mean, this one wears its heart on its sleeves. But that said, I kind of like the way it still said things about family. I mean, there was a great cameo by Michael Ironside, one of my favorite villain players from the 80s. He was in Total Recall. I think he was also in RoboCop or thereabouts, either him or Ronnie Cox. But I'm saying that even without overdoing stuff, it's for me. It's still, I was still able to catch subtle messages about gun violence, about a man and his wife, or a wife and her man, and how boredom can set in, and how folks need to constantly.
Don't say anything. I have another question after this. So you can answer after that.
I'm not having it.
100%.
I'm not having it.
No problem. I have another question after that. You people are going to debate about seriously. Okay, don't worry. Let's finish.
And then the responsibility a parent has to instill the right values in the children, regardless of whatever your background is and all of that. Because sometimes I do wonder, and okay, so I'm a non-smoker, but sometimes I think, so if you used to be a chronic smoker, how when you now start having kids, how do you navigate that? What do you do right? What do you do wrong? If you used to have a very wild lifestyle, you get married and you have kids, how do you navigate that? Like I said, these things are not necessarily the prerogative of the movie because it's an action movie. But to be fair, if you've seen these action movies often and often, frankly, they follow the same tropes and all that, but you can still pick out stuff. Most times it's inadvertent, but those are some of the things I saw in that movie that really endeared me. And you see, the way you are able to pick that stuff sometimes is due to the actor and the kind of gravitas that they bring to it. If you put so I'll probably be crucified here for this. If you put a Keanu Reeves, you might not see anything because frankly, he doesn't have much range. But if you bring certain actors to even say, I am going to the gentleman's room, great actors, they will deliver it in such a way that you will see more than it. You will see so many things in just, I am going to the gentleman's room. The way they look, their mannerism, all of that, and I think that had been the success of Liam, at least at the very beginning, in his new action movie phase, because there was just a gravitas he brought when he says, I am good at a specific set of skills. Because you see him, being Aslan in Batman Begins, in much more serious movies. You are not doubting that at all. And then you are in for a very, very serious time. So I know it's an action movie, but I still got stuff off it. So I mean, I don't know. Sue me. Hello, Doing. We can't see you.
Please, I just want to protect this hate speech against Keanu Reeves. That's
but
all.
he doesn't have range. Let's leave it where
he doesn't have range now. It's not his fault. He's done very well in his career, to be fair.
Wherever they stereotype him to, he should just stick to that stage.
If John Wicks is not available, better call Saul.
Yes, now, bros. Yes,
now. I've been dying to say that, Afam. I can see.
Gee, that is below the belt. That is so below the belt. That's not fair.
He couldn't wait to get that out, man.
You know why I actually like the movie a whole lot? Because in the beginning, he started like Saul that we know.
Yeah.
Dull. Yeah. Doing the same routine over and over and over and over again. And then he not just changed. Like, I was just wondering, what's this one going to do? What's he going to do? Because he already showed himself as Saul in the house in front of his son.
Yeah, so you just he's probably he doesn't really know where he is even, and then he actually shoots enough to hold the guy down, and the attendant in the hospital still thinks that he's watching loud TV. I mean, that was my baddest moment. I was screaming and shouting.
One of the things I love again about this movie is the subtle anti-ageism message of it. I really love that.
True.
So I'm sorry, Doyin, I'm going to make this quick because I suspect it might also be one of the points that you have noted and the questions you are going to ask. But I love the anti-ageism thing, the idea that, and I'm sorry, so Doyin is going to roll her eyes now. In Nigeria, in Nigeria, for example, right? There's the theory that all these old people, they're the ones that are ruining whatever. But I used to say that, look, if you were an idiot when you were young, most likely you will be an idiot when you are old. If you are smart when you are young, I'm not sure that you then suddenly become an idiot when you are old. Yes, you might become a bit insular, maybe. So I'm saying that, there's so much focus on youth and the whole living happily ever after aspect of things in storytelling that people neglect to actually discuss. Okay, so what happens after the hero meets the heroine and they marry? That's a whole different chapter that hardly ever gets explored. What happens when the gigantic spy retires? How, so what happens? How does he live his life? And because society doesn't tell enough stories about the aftermath, somehow people then are left to
some fantasy, like a happily ever after is just what it is. There's something more beyond.
Yes, it's just a phase. You happily ever after, but you must have kids. You happily ever after, but then you've got to deal with other stuff. So I really appreciated that. And the fact that you are still seeing people in their middle ages or in their old age and still somewhat being relevant to the conversation. I really appreciated that. So, yeah.
All right. So, what I want to talk about is the next question is quite sensitive. So,
you're not that loud. You're not that audible.
I can't remember which year.
Doyin, you're not that audible.
Can you hear me now?
It's just a bit low.
It's low. Compared to what you did before, it's really gone down.
Till now?
Same.
Can you, but it's like they're really far away.
Unplug your hands free.
I think it's your ear, it's your headset.
Unplug your hands free and plug it back.
Is it better now?
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, okay, yes, great. Sorry, I don't know what I did. So I can't remember which year it was. So it's still a discussion now, but there was a time it was intense when America was all over the place with toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like now we see sorry, what's Hutch? We see Hutch. Hutch is his name, right?
Yeah.
And he gives he's giving out his beta man vibes. Like he's not struggling, he's comfortable, his family is okay. Like I think that's like everything is okay, but he's just not the alpha male society has given. Now, you remember when even his son started shaming him for that, especially during the robbery, and the only reason he didn't beat them was because he saw his son, and he doesn't want maybe the son to be in that situation again, and instead of hiding, he will want to copy his father and everything. And then the brother now goes there and shames the police officer now shames him and says, if it was my family, it would never have happened. I would have defended them. I would have whoa. So am I overreacting, or part of the introspective stuff of toxic masculinity was sort of hidden there? So the one that believes the movie is what's the word, introspective? So is your question?
I believe it's introspective as well.
Yeah, okay, so a quick one, right?
Sorry.
Now in Hollywood. So in Hollywood, for example, right? Hollywood is in California essentially, even though productions happen in other states like Georgia, Michigan, and all that. Now, politically, people always think that Hollywood is essentially leftist. Most of the big stars, they donate to the Democrat Party. Many people in the Democrat Party are essentially about gun control and stuff like that. And then, they also say that a lot of these movies are godless because they talk about homosexuality and all that. So in certain parts of the country, right, some of them are a bit picky about Hollywood movies, because of some of these things. And as you know, the Republicans, they're very pro, they're about less gun control. They're about this whole freedom and, talking tough and all that. So now the reason why I'm bringing all this is because what it has created is that if you're a good movie producer, you really want to have the best box office. So essentially, you need to be able to balance your messaging in the sense that it should, appeal to, in quotes, liberal bleeding hearts, as well as the tough-talking, Western type, Southern type people. Now, this movie, right, is an action movie. If it is an action movie, then it means that, and it is unapologetically violent. Now, as you know, a lot of these Republicans, they are always saying that immigrants and all of that are the people spoiling the country. And so, if you need to be tough, you need to be very tough. It is not a coincidence that usually they back very, very tough measures against America's, in quote, enemies. There was a time George Bush Jr. talked about the axis of evil. So you see, this movie essentially tries to balance. Why? Because a family in peril is central to the plot. So it will. So when you use family, you bring the Republicans and the Democrats to buy your ticket, because at least that's what everybody agrees. That's the general
universal language.
Yes, that's the thing. What I like is that they go beyond just the immediate family. So you see, there was that talk with his father-in-law, There was the talk with his brother-in-law. The idea that, okay, look, this is a family man. Then, even when Hutch himself was reminiscing, he was also talking about a man who he nearly killed and then let go because the man decided that, look, family is important to me beyond whatever it is I gain from these sort of things. So it's a mixed message kind of thing. But you remember that as a filmmaker, even if you're against gun violence, some of your characters must speak for gun violence in the end. Because it's an action movie, I don't see how we are not going to attribute some toxic masculinity into it, because it's dealing with gangsters, for example. But then
no. Sorry, I'm not talking about the gangster part.
I get you. I'm just saying that. I'm just saying that when these producers are looking at the script and discussing it, there are so many issues they're often thinking and talking about. And let's not forget, toxic masculinity is something that is fairly ingrained in society. Taking your so much that's into right? what you know.
Okay, it was. I thought it was my internet.
I am.
Yeah, you are breaking.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm surprised because you know. Anyway, so again, trust me, it's an action movie. There would always be instances where you can say that, okay, look, I think this type of stuff represents toxic masculinity, where people are seemingly praising toxic masculinity. But I think that the makers of this movie balanced the issues out by also pushing the mandate of a man who is just trying to protect his family. So at the time those people were yapping him or shaming him, they felt that he was somebody. So I think the filmmakers are saying you don't necessarily have to resort to violence, but if the violence comes to your doorstep, then regardless of who you are, you've got to defend your family. Really, I don't know. That's why I think from watching that, you know, and I agree with D. To be fair, he really didn't need to overdo all that Desgi in the boss. Personally, that's what I think. I feel that I feel that as Odiri, I think that as Odiri pointed out, you cannot a leopard to change his spots. He's going to need some serious cosmetic surgery as well as serious whatever. I mean, it's been boiling inside of him, and just because he saw somebody love his family and he too wanted to do that, he had tried to tamp that down for long. But man, like he said, when God closes a door, other doors are opened. And the door is a metaphor because that incident just triggered and opened his own door that he had been trying to keep locked for a long time. I fear that maybe I've not answered your questions the way you want to hear it, but I think that the movie contains all sorts of messages and was able to redeem itself from whatever accusations of toxic masculinity might have that had taken place prior to that. Because you find out that Hutch in the end was a very thoughtful human being. In fact, that's what they maintained, that he was very thoughtful. You know, the thieves were desperate. We see the thieves themselves, they were eating cheap noodles for dinner, you know, thoughtful. He could have done stuff to the kid. He didn't do stuff to their kid. Thoughtful. I don't know. Was going to kill somebody, didn't kill. Thoughtful. So I don't know.
All right. Odiri, do you want to answer?
I don't know. I'm not one of those who I don't understand when people say toxic masculinity. That's me. I don't really.
That's show of masculinity that poisons.
Show of masculinity. The guy. Because I personally believe the guy. Yes, he wasn't. He was trying hard to hold himself. But the whole shaming from his son saying, where is Uncle Kini Kini Kini? I want to do show and tell. Do I have a question for you after this? Wanted to do show and tell. He's looking for the uncle, the neighbor. Like, you understand? Like, the guy is just all those. He had this solemn. I guess okay. Talk, ma. Sorry, you have to flow.
Let her talk.
Necessarily a promotion of toxic masculinity. It is what the society is. That's the truth. That is the norm, and they're just reflecting what the truth is. Most people in that situation, they'll be treated exactly the way he was treated. So I don't know that it is promoting. It's just reflecting.
No. I didn't say promoting. I meant reflecting.
Oh yeah, it's reflecting.
Like their actions.
That's life. Most people will look at you like, now wow, especially in that kind of society, like Sewedo said, that's the way most people would look in that kind of environment, like weak guy. That's the treatment. So I think it's a reflection of reality.
It would have been more pronounced if he knew he was an ex-assassin and he didn't do anything. Like, you, ex-assassin, you did not even take out these people.
Meanwhile, it was messy. He just showed them mercy.
As a rule,
that is the more reason why he didn't.
He showed them mercy because the conversation with. Sorry, D, you can't talk. You get waiting to scratch this since to talk.
No,
sorry, my talk.
As in, you know how somebody will be abusing you, and you know that if I
pass this person,
like his neighbor with the sports car. When he took the sports car from him, he went to.
Neighbor, when Allah was here, watch.
And burns down his house. All the neighbors were looking at him. He didn't even care. Like, and so, what do you want to do?
I think sorry to talk.
I think the central message of the writer, which again, so this is part of why I love this particular movie. I think that calm down. I like so I think that you see with John Wick, Bros was just trying to get back a lot. But after the successes, he's able to, it's almost as if he's thinking, now that I have more sense, money don't come, okay, calm down. How can I portray chivalry, real bravado, in a fairly much more thoughtful manner? Because you see, everything I get from that prologue, so to speak, or those earlier scenes is not
before the violence. Before the violence.
So, yeah, exactly. Before the violence. It seems the filmmakers were saying, no, it's not by showing off and desgi. If you have it, you have it. In fact, if you have it, most necessarily, you don't need to. I've been telling folks, by God's grace, when I hit my billions, it's short nika I will be wearing. Wallahi. Because I don't have anything to prove to anybody. If you like, please, be doing cartwheel around me. My money is in my bank.
Now that time they're going to say the trust from Peking.
No, it's okay. I mean, that's just me. If I have it, right, I really don't. It is when you get to where, just like the guy showed that, when the guys in the tattoo parlor, when they saw the people now palmed, I said, "Oh, Baba, oh!" It's the same. Like I'm sure I've mentioned this here before. When I go to a bank and then you see the guy with the palm slippers, and you just see the general manager or the manager of the bank
coming down to greet him.
Coming down and be greeted.
Good afternoon, sir. That missed you.
that kind of thing, So I think that was the equivalent in the tattoo parlor. That it's not by noise, it's not by showing off desgi. The people who have this stuff, if they get once in a while, you need to show folks, especially in a place like Nigeria, or else, people will just be doing anyhow they like.
Yes, I used to wonder what always came to his mind when his brother-in-law was making mouth.
Exactly. God bless you. To be fair, I laughed at that scene. I'm thinking, my God, this guy.
No idea.
Next time, do a better job. I said, sure.
I said that he was just saying in his head, if I slap you, this guy,
I swear. I found that scene very, very funny. It was a very funny scene. I'm thinking, look at this guy. He doesn't even know who he's talking to. Okay.
I think, in fact, I didn't even realize how, for lack of a better word, alarmingly strong the guy was, till that guy saw the mark, entered his room, locked the door.
Locked the door. Double locking, triple locking. He just said,
There is another question. Did the wife know he was that kind of person?
That was my next question.
She did.
Because she was too calm.
Understanding. Yes, she did.
She was too calm.
You guys have
and I think that was what caused the problem between both of them, I think. Because she knows the kind of husband she married, and once in a while he may get when he came back home and he was
no. Let me ask the question. You cannot answer it. I actually have a question like that. Okay, so now our last question. So that call at the end, the call that was like, we will be needing your services. Is that showing that this Nobody can be a season film?
Not season film, now just a franchise.
Oh, cool. When we say season film, now franchise. Season film is LCA code. Season film.
As far as it was successful, they will find a way to make another one.
Yes, now. Even Extraction itself has a sequel on the way.
Equalizer had the
that's so weird.
For nothing. You know, they will find a way. Equalizer had a part 2.
Rubbish part 2
was done.
But it will. I expect. So again, if you were in Derek Kolstad's shoes and you got a very good, you made money from this. Of course, you are going to ensure that the franchise goes on so that you keep making money now. And Hollywood, you know how it works. I like the anti-ageism aspect of it, Sha. That's my own. The idea that the fact that you are older than a particular whatever, you can only do certain kind of movies.
No, but so in one of the reviews I read, May Sunanta, the wife Becca, somebody was like, they really loved her character. So I'm trying to remember Hippolyta, Connie Nielsen. Somebody was like, they really like the fact that she was the one chosen. That a lot of time they'll be using, movies have used a much younger woman to depict somebody that's been married for 20 years with kids, that her age, everything, her age in real life, everything was just perfect for the movie. There's no point, I was just talking. Anyway, down to our yes. Does anybody have anything to add before I go to our yes or no question? No.
I was going to talk about sorry, just briefly. We're going to talk about the parallel between the villain and the...
Oh no, I forgot to ask about the villain. Oh my God, we got so busy talking about... let's ask about the villain. Were you impressed by him?
Well, yeah, I was actually.
I liked it.
The two of them
are
quite similar.
Okay, go on.
The two of them are quite similar, but they are different in certain ways. In the beginning, when we were introduced to Hutch, we saw him as an orderly person, like he has a routine and everything, but for some reason he keeps missing the garbage truck. He was not on time on that one. Maybe that I don't know why. But when we were introduced to Julian, he was a disorderly person. The way he drove in from the road, and his clubhouse is on this side, he parked on this other side.
That's why
I'm just saying. What I mean by when I say disorderly, I don't mean that he doesn't keep himself clean or anything. I mean, like, he's rugged. Like, he just doesn't give a damn. Sort of. He's not organized. Like
that one was
exactly
at the bar. At the bar.
Yeah, he behaved like a mad person. Like he exactly. So you now have a calm protagonist, and you now have a villain that is calm and crazy. So I think the two of them sort of like
that's not even what I was expecting you were going to say. Now I thought what you were going to say is that they were similar in that both of them got to a point where they were just tired of the existence.
Yeah, Gillian too was tired of the Upshack. He wanted
exactly.
He didn't want that.
Exactly. Then in a funny twist, guys, you've got to forgive me. Toxic masculinity. When the businessman comes to Julian and says, "Hey, all this singing and dancing, see what you are doing. Is this the way to be doing Big Boss Man, Kiri, and all that?" And they had to do, and I'm thinking, it's not necessary to be alone. Go to you now. Why did you just kill that guy just to show that there's so again? Both of them have had to show violence as a means of affirming
themselves.
Masculinity and all that. But I liked the idea that a villain could be a singing and dancing one. I really liked that. I thought, the first time it endeared me to the villain. First of all, when he stepped down that the jeep, and in my mind I'm thinking, this guy is going to hit this guy. But he just walked across that street, went into the, as in like the swag was so bad, In fact, I actually thought that it was Billy Nighy when they showed him from the back. And then they now the camera then fully shows him and stuff. So I really liked, and like I said, I saw parallels between both of them. And again, unlike John Wick, where we had one along Jagbadu villain like that. I really liked this one. The things he did. So in my mind, I'm always watching out for how they are going to write a villain. How will they make him different? How will his modus operandi be maybe a little bit menacing? So it wasn't what he did in the bar that was menacing to me. It was the idea that he picked up a chair in a hospital.
In the hospital.
Oh my God! I said I have never seen that in my life.
No, that bar scene was an introduction to who he was. So that hospital scene did not shock me as much as
it shocked me. Man, hospital.
I was ready for it in the hospital. Do you get? I was ready for the hospital scene. But the bar scene, I was not ready at all. I was like, what just happened? Why? I rewound it. Why? But the hospital scene, I was like, oh yeah, expected. You're crazy. You're a crazy man.
he is fucking crazy. But I just like that he was a singer and a dancer and he knew how to compartmentalize all of that. He really, for me, saying that he was also tired of the upshag. I thought that was a nice character crink. Usually you have villains that they love what they do.
They're ambitious, but this one
they're ambitious and all that. So once again, I think this movie is not your personally. The things I got from
once again, the villain wasn't even revenging because he was in love with his
exactly. You see that crink. That's what I'm saying. It's a movie that you watch it, then you start seeing that there's a bit of thoughtfulness that had gone into making this. So I don't know where the John Wick comparisons are though, because there are many. This is almost like Home Alone with a massive whatever of testosterone, and all that. But I really liked it. I liked the movie. I enjoyed it. So well done, Afam, on that.
Thanks.
Good movie. Thanks. To be fair, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I had that nobody on my hard drive for a few weeks or months now, but I didn't care. And when I saw that that was the chosen one, so these people, I'm sure this is going to be one boring action that I will be rewinding, But once I just saw that guy, Bob, it was really good. Nice, not bad. More action movies like this, please.
Doing you?
Doing Yala.
Yeah, Andy.
Yes, and I know all you people's answer is no. I know, but I just have to ask.
Okay.
Mr. Nobody is low budget John Wick. Bisola. Huh? We know hear you.
Yes.
So
It's low budget, but it's not a low budget John Wick, I think.
D.
No, I said that from the beginning.
D.
Yes, he is.
Afam.
Okay.
I'm coming. There's one word I'm looking for.
After don't start again.
When you can't find John Wick, better call.
Console.
That was cool. That was really cool. So yes, Dane, yes. I'm so happy I'm not the only person that said no.